What is happening, everybody? It's your boy Monk. It's your boy Lou Betya, live from the cell, and we are back for UFC Vegas 87, an absolute banger of a card, leading into UFC 299. That one's a banger, but don't look past this one. It's going to be a low-level shit show in a bunch of these fights, so I'm looking forward to it. Interesting ways to bet a couple of these. Very fucking weird DraftKings slate. So, Lou, how are you doing, man? It's another week without Lou. The masses are still hashtagging free Lou Betya. We saw, I think Daz posted what can only be described as a Lou shoddy. I'll have to send it to you in the Discord. It's Lou with the Macho Man shirt on. No comment, no caption, just Lou. So the people are still clamoring. How are you doing this week?
I mean, I'm used to it at this point, and
getting used to the food,
and of course, since I am a known war criminal.
Well, and I missed the show last night. I had the Pub Sports show again 2 weeks in a row. I had a flat tire on the interstate, Lou. I didn't even tell you.
I didn't watch the show.
Well, I know.
If you're not on, I have no interest.
But if that's what he's referencing, I did make it home safe. If it's not, then keep me safe for sure.
He's definitely talking about me popping you with a soldering iron.
I'm wearing phone books under this Cheeto hoodie. So
I mean, look, I have mixed emotions. I have a lot of friends that I've made over time. I like being insane. These are things that Twitter enabled me to do. The side I have, that's funny. That's so funny because this is the name I was going to use. I was going to do like
Lou, not ya.
It's going to be like definitely not Lou.
Right.
It's going to be like I'll never guess. But like at the same time, honestly, man, like I was never like a big social media guy anyway before this whole venture started, like at all. Like I kind of private, like I don't complain about my fucking problems online. Like I just use it for like parody and like being funny. So like, I don't know. I have mixed emotions. Like I'm sure I'll be back at some point, but I don't know. Not like it really not really in a rush like you'd think. So whoever did this, I kind of owe you thank you. Like you've given me like a nice couple of weeks off from it.
It's very important. Got to take that break.
But this is definitely a card that is happening Saturday, and that's
happening.
The best thing I can say. I do have some spots that I think you could definitely waste money on. So, and that's my job, allegedly. So, let's do my job. Let's be professionals.
There we go. Let's shout out the chat. First in the chat, the Triple C boys, Big Meal Shamil. I love that nickname for sure. Daz in the chat
last night. I caught what I could. That was a banger.
They had who?
Pepe.
Oh, nice.
Who will be on this channel?
That's true.
Next week with Big Steve for the prop show. So very excited for that.
Big time show next week. A bunch of big shows next week for the huge card. We got Prince of Mischief, 2 cents, Damare, and Justin Villegas as well. Yeah, he's looking jacked. There's no USADA in the Twitter cell, that's for sure. And just like this is a card, Lou, this is a fight right here. Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi, I could barely fit his name on here, going against Loic Radzhabov. Plus 100 doesn't go, minus 130 does go, and that's about the tamest you're going to see these distance props tonight. Minus 178 for the favorite newcomer, plus 153 for the 2-fight veteran, if you will, 2-fight prospect in Loic Radzhabov. Lou, why don't you actually know? I'm going to start us off here. I think that's how the math works. Yeah, this one I have I'm on the underdog here, and I'm not on basically any other dogs this week. It's just it's real bad. Dogs could win because it's a bunch of low-level fights, but man, it's tumbleweeds going across the road here. But yeah, 78 for Loic. I think he has a lot of takedown upside. Did well against what I would consider a good prospect in Esteban Ribovic. Landed 11 takedowns and scored 120 in his UFC debut. And then Mateusz Rebecki, who is a big prospect as well. And I think Selwadi is a big step down from that. So I'm going to take my shot on the dog here. And I don't know shit about Al-Sawadi. He won his Dana White Contender Series fight, unlike somebody else on this card, but he only scored 70 points in the process. 1 takedown, 13% control time. So I need to see it from him. Give me Loic here. Lou, you interested in this one from any angles?
Yeah, I'm with you. I I think we're getting pretty good value on Radzhabov at plus 153. I mean, he showed he can wrestle against Ribovic. I know Ribovic really doesn't have good takedown defense at all, but he showed he has the cardio to continuously go for takedowns. His strength is pretty good. He's definitely, I mean, it's not even close to the strength schedule. He's definitely fought the guys. And I think people are kind of overrating Al-Sawadi based on his Contender Series fight because he showed a really, really good gas tank against Hardwick, who like really didn't offer any resistance. Like was just getting him against the cage, was go, go, go. Radzhabov throws knees, and that's one thing I like here is like I think he can deter Sawadi from just continuously blind going for takedowns. And also Luque works the body a little more. So look, man, it wasn't a great look against Rebecca, but I think Rebecca has like top 10, top 5 potential down the line. Like he hits like a motherfucker, can wrestle pretty well rounded. I don't think Al-Sawadi's really well rounded, and he's very hittable too. So I think this fight, I think Radzhabov by decision or maybe a late finish is what I would aim at here. I have no reason to bet it yet because it seems like the steam is still slightly coming in on the Al-Sawadi side. So we'll see what it gets to by fight time. We should mention, I mean, obviously you guys in the chat, I'm sure know this, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. So
yeah,
make late action, get it in, noon.
And can you believe it? This was supposed to be the Saudi card, and they said no thanks. Like, I don't get it. Are they saying this card's not good enough?
I mean, I like this. This is fun. This is a pretty funny comment, by the way.
It is.
I mean, like, and this is one of the more interesting fights on the card. Like, I mean, especially from like a betting perspective, because if you like Sawadi, as much as I'm saying I like the Radzhabov side here, Sawadi has a win condition where he could look minus 500. Like if he's landing takedowns and getting control time, he's going to look like a steal at this price. So I think whoever you like, I get it. But for me, I think this just plays out really, really close. I think it goes the distance more often than not. I don't agree with the line being the props being what they are, the time props. So
yeah,
if I think it's going to be a super close decision, I think you have to play the dog here, especially the guy with more like not is necessarily like better. He definitely better strength of schedule, but maybe not like the most experience. But I like him.
Agreed. We'll keep it moving. This may require some explanation for our younger viewers. Next fight, Vinicius Oliveira. His nickname is Loke Dog. And for those of you that don't know, don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Starring Marlon Wayans as Loke Dog. So that's why we have Loke Dog here. And that's pretty fucking good Photoshop, if I don't say so myself.
It's tremendous.
And we've got Bernardo Sopaj, the Lion King, self-explanatory. Minus 250 doesn't go. Plus 195 does go. Minus 130 for Loke Dog. Plus 110 for Sopai. 86 and 76. Interesting salaries here. Lou, what do you got here?
So Sopaj was training for a fight. So he's already been in camp. And he was training for a guy who's a super low level can. But that being said, the guy he was training for at least is very similar style to Oliveira, where it's going to be a lot of power punches and probably not a lot of grappling in this fight. So there's so much working against Sopaj here in terms of like not just the short notice nature, but the flight and like all this, like a lot of just narrative outside the cage stuff. And yet you look at the line and it's plus 110. And that tells you everything you need to know. Now, I can't remember the goddamn fight. So I'm going to pick Sopaj, but it's not for the reasons that make sense. It's, I got to remember, we just had this kind of situation with, it's the wrong Kosei. We had the dude with the weird ass name.
Orion.
How about this? My pick is Sopaj. Give your analysis, and I'm going to figure out the fight I'm talking about.
All right. Well, for DraftKings, we don't know shit really about these guys. I mean, Oliveira had 3-minute win in DWCS over Vic Madrigal. 111 points. There is what he scored in 3 minutes. So very good. And Sopai, 11-2 professionally, 10 finishes out of those 11 wins. No Dana White Contender Series or anything like that to speak of. I mean, Oliveira looked good in his fight, but again, it was 3 minutes. The guy does have 22 pro fights, while Sopai only has 13. So I think this is kind of a must-ish play fight. If you want to get contrarian, I would go under the field because I think a lot of people are going to play this fight, and for good reason. One of these guys could get knocked out. Who knows? I mean, doesn't go is minus 250. So, and that's again one of the smaller ones on this card, it seems like. But yeah, I'm gonna lean with Loke Dog here, but I don't know that I just feel like being contrarian on this one. I'm not gonna go all in on this one, even though I think it is an all-in fight. So just play game theory, you know what I mean? You think everybody's going in, just go a little bit under on it is what I would do.
Okay, I figured out the fight. It was Uroshmetic against Mikteltik Oral Bay.
Oh,
where he
My
came
titty
in
back
short
Oral Boy?
notice. He came in short notice with a couple of days. He was already in camp for a different fight, and he came out, and the line was like he was the favorite. He ended up becoming small favorite. And on this show, I was like, "There's a lot I don't like, so I'm going to take Medic." You know, this is after he came off the nice win against Semmelsberger, and then I was so wrong because it's a different stylistic fight, and that Oral Bay had a lot of good grappling equity, and Medic really didn't. But I can't shake that, like, it's the same kind of spot where it's a short notice guy coming in from a different league and getting a lot of respect on the line. And I think that tells you everything you need to know from a betting perspective. So also should mention, Sapaj's never been finished. So
Yep.
you look at this total. Again, this is like kind of a numbers play here, not more like this isn't like a hardcore analysis of technique. This is a numbers play. So no bet. I'm not going to bet it, though. There's too many unknowns for me, but
Absolutely.
I want to be right for Twitch Brian.
Yeah, that's true. And it should be noted, Sopaj. I mean, I think actually you did note it already. Super short notice. Let's keep it moving. CLD, better known on this channel as Christian Leroy Duncan, taking on Claudio Ribeiro. Minus 400 doesn't go. Plus 300 does go. Minus 305 for Duncan. Plus 255 for Ribeiro. 89 and 7,300 are the salaries here. Look, I think this one is a must-play fight. Both of these guys have scored fantastically when they've won, especially Duncan. 119 against Dennis Tululin and 95 against Dusko Todorovic. Ribeiro beat up Ugly Man Holmes, scored 110, but he's also been KO'd in his 2 UFC losses, one by Kopylov with a tremendous head kick, and the other by Abdul Razak Al Hassan, also in the second round. So there's a lot of knockouts to go around in this fight. I think one of these guys is getting knocked out, and I think that is going to be Claudio Ribeiro. So I am going to have more of Christian Leroy Duncan then hopefully the field. At 8,900, he is super cheap because there's only 4 $8,000 salaries this week, guys. It's completely fucked. There's only 4 of them, and CLD is the 4th cheapest favorite on this card. So I really like him here. 3.2 a minute, big finisher, big score when he wins, and Ribeiro has shown holes. That said, Claudio is also a finisher. So like I said, a must-play fight. I personally am on the CLD side, so I'll have more of him. Lou, what do you got here from these 2 middleweight bangers?
I mean, you're forcing me to do the Leroy Jenkins.
I am.
Like,
yeah, for sure.
Me to do. By the way,
I was hoping you would.
Got the dog father in the chat.
Nice. Dog. So sorry, but I heard you may be doing some content with Lou. May I suggest, and actually I'm putting this much nicer than I said to Lou, you should change your name to DAWG father before you come. I'm just saying, suggestion, you should just do it. It's just better. I don't know. So but I'm glad you're all going to be on the channel.
I forget who I heard say it earlier in the week, but they said that Duncan it might have even been Brady. I don't know. If it was Brady, I yelled at him. He said that he thinks Duncan could go to the grappling here and take advantage of Ribeiro. And I'm just going to say that he's not.
No,
and he should.
No,
because he can't.
Right.
And if anybody has grappling equity here, it's Ribeiro. And even Ribeiro's grappling equity is get in range, get Duncan against the cage, grab a single leg, never complete it, and just burn time off the clock. And Ribeiro he's very front loaded. He's very limited cardio. He, like, look, man, I don't know how you rate Al Hassan, but like Al Hassan's not a dude who moves like super, super fast. He's just a power guy. And he looked like the Flash compared to like how measured and like just Ribeiro winds up from like 300 feet away to throw a strike. Like it's very obvious. That's smart.
Agreed.
And we'll get to that one too. Him and I may agree on that, but I think Duncan 2-3 is, and I don't think Duncan's like some elite striker, but he does have a ton of experience in the amateurs too. Like I feel like I've said this every time he's fought. I think this stays standing. I do think the first round is going to be kind of weirdly ugly with like them. It's going to be a little bit of a staring contest. They got to respect their power. Ribeiro maybe a little more power, but Duncan certainly better technique.
Yeah,
certainly more precise in my opinion. And I think that Duncan's not the guy that works the body. So Ribeiro's limited cardio is going to be compromised with 1 or 2 body kicks. I really want to play the over 1.5 here. I really do. But I feel like Duncan 2-3, is probably the most likely result here. I think it was 460 and 900 the last I looked. Might have been 460 and 800.
Really? I like that.
That's with the KO. But I mean, if you get the submission, I'll eat my shoe.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. 475 and 850 respectively.
Even better.
So FanDuel doesn't have any of their stuff out, I don't think, like where they do the combos, but round 2, round 3 KO for Duncan. And I don't know, man. This is another, I mean, Ribeiro, like,
he's completely untrustworthy.
Probably not long. I want to say he's not long for the UFC, but he's kind of like the best jobber they have in terms of like, yeah. And speaking of jobbers,
oh yes,
before we move on,
what a segue.
Speaking of jobbers, rest in peace, Mike Jones, aka Virgil, from the WWF, because that's when he was there. Turning on the $1 Million Man, winning the championship.
$1 Million Man, yeah.
Sitting at booths everywhere across the country. They used to have lonelyvirgil.net. It was just pictures of him sitting in parking lots with his merchandise desk. Tremendous. Had some health problems over the last couple of years, but and he came out with a video game called like Meat Sauce Mania because reasons. So
Meat Sauce Mania.
R.I.P. Virgil, one of the good guys, and yeah. What's up, Dev? I don't think the prayers were for Virgil. That's just his move. But
have we figured it out? Have we figured it out if that's a 2? Are those prayer hands or high fives?
I don't know, but this is funny. He asked, speaking of jobbers, where's Big Steve? And all I had to do was say meat sauce, and he shows up.
That's a pretty good power. Next fight, the Snow Leopard, Javid Basharat, taking on Ayman Zahabi. Plus 150 doesn't go. Minus 180 does go. Minus 800 for the Snow Leopard. Plus 550 for Ayman. 9,500. Wow. Third most expensive fighter on the card for DraftKings. 67 for Ayman. What is this? 4th fight? You're up, Lou.
So from a DFS perspective, like, unless Basharat wrestles, and he can, unless he wrestles, he never covers this price tag. This over is so juiced. It's ridiculous. What I wonder is, do you think there's like a little bit of a karma thing coming here? For the Victor Henry fight?
Oh, yeah. Could be. And that's more for the doctor, though. I mean, it was Basharat too, but everybody remembers the doctor.
Afterwards, where he's like, he was faking, he wasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Going on for weeks, like, and I've always liked I think both Basharats. I like their process. I think they have super high fight IQ. They're only going to get better. Like, I love everything I've seen with them except the lack of finishing equity. But my God, Zahabi is just going to offer nothing past the first round in this fight, man. Like, His strike totals are always super low. And I'm not talking about the Arichi KO. Obviously, his strike numbers are going to be low for that. But I think Basharat's just going to pick him apart from range. He's going to kick him a ton. He's probably going to mix in at least 1 or 2 takedowns early. I think if you want to have a fun bet here, round 3 sub, Basharat. I don't really think it happens. It's 18-1. Isn't even a great price.
Yeah.
But if you parlayed him earlier in the week, like, God bless you. But like, I mean, a minus 800 bet with a fight that's, I mean, it says minus 180 fight goes the distance, but like, I think this goes the distance a lot more often. No, Chase Sherman and his brother, Sherman. Sherman has never lost in the UFC.
That's true.
Undefeated in the UFC. He's a meat man. He is a big meat sauce guy. So the pick is Basharat. Look, man, if this thing goes a distance and Zahabi has like a pretty good first round, even gets a knockdown, you're getting like a weird dicey judging, and I don't like that for a minus 800 guy. He's got to just complete. Yeah, I did. He's got to. I mean, for him to cover his number, he's got to like probably land 4 takedowns, just top time him, never get hit. I don't know. He wins, but fun prop would be the late sub. But I don't. And as far as Lando says, he put the Zahabi KO. I don't see Zahabi. Zahabi's striking is still, to me, it's pretty. He's too low volume, and it's pretty rudimentary. Like it's over the top power, and I think Basharat's going to be ready for it. So.
Yeah, I mean, and in the last, Ariel's doppelganger. In the last 3, Ayman Zahabi has knocked out 2 of his opponents, but it's Draco Rodriguez and Orichi Lang. So it's not really a guarantee, not at all a guarantee, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like Lou said, round 1 or bust. If he doesn't knock him out, he's beating like Ricky Tercios and scoring 51 points. So he put up 104 and 102 in those round 1 finishes, but his total average overall only 82.39 DraftKings points per win. So if he's not getting it done in the first round, he's scoring 50 or 60 fucking points, and that's not good. Meanwhile, Javid undefeated, so obviously never been finished. His strength of schedule is not great, but neither is Zahabi for as long as he's been around. And I agree. Basharat, I'm thinking Basharat decision. I don't think he scores well. 9,500 is crazy, in my opinion. Even for cash, that's a little wild because his highest score, I mean, he's been at 65, 82, 98. That's what we've seen so far. So nothing too impressive. Definitely nothing to be paying 9,500 for.
I said, dude, I'm telling you, there's a karma element that's possibly in play here.
You should at least just come out and kick him in the balls right away.
Yeah, and I know you're not in the chat a lot. We have a term for that.
Yep.
Yam bags, which by the way, I should probably find the yam bag special in the next few minutes, shouldn't I?
That's true.
Oh, I already know what it is. Never mind. I already knew what it was. I know what it is.
Well, will it be this one? Oh, and Zahabi, I'm not interested in for DraftKings at 6,700 because he just scores like shit. Ludwig Klein, thanks, EZ. Ludwig Klein taking on AJ Cunningham on super duper short notice. I don't need minus 400 doesn't go, plus 300 does go. Ludwig Klein is minus 900, and he's the second most expensive fighter on DraftKings. This is insane. Of course, I like him to win, but man, he does not ever score well ever when he wins. He's pretty much a decision machine. Less than 84 points per win. The only reason I'm thinking about playing a little bit of him is because AJ Cunningham, I mean, got KO'd by Steven Wynn in his last fight and gave up like 121 points in the Dana White Contender Series fight. So I don't know, man. If I feel like if I'm stuck, if I pass on Klein because he's too expensive, this is when he's going to get the first round knockout out of nowhere. If I go a bunch on Klein, it's going to be a decision and I'm going to waste 9,600. So I'm going to listen to you and try to figure out what I should do. His 3 wins, Ignacio Bahamondes, Mason Jones, Devontae Smith, all decisions, 70 points, 76, 86. I am thinking a fade here, but geez, man, I'd rather pay $100 and get Umar, but what do you got to say here? Maybe you can sway me.
Well, First of all, I want to talk about this guy that Cunningham beat after the Contender Series. This Justice the Gavel Lamperez, which is a tremendous name.
That is an awesome name.
I mean, I'm I didn't like go down the rabbit hole here. This guy sucks.
Yeah,
badly. That he was that Cunningham beat, but still, you get a win. Everybody always gets happy here. Look, man, I know there's a lot of people think Klein's just gonna like level game him and like round one head kick. Who the fuck is he head kick KOing at this level? He's not.
right.
And he's fought guys that are limited that he should have absolutely demolished. Like Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
Was like, dude, I don't know why he went so close to them. The Mason Jones fight, I give him, like, that's fine because that was just a really good decision win. But then the Jai Herbert fight, man, like, Herbert's chinny as shit, and he grapples him, and he just stays safe, and he wins minutes. Okay. Bahamundis, yeah, dangerous, lengthy striker, but again, not a dude that's, like, really got a ton of finishing equity. And Klein just kind of wanted to grapple and stay safe and win minutes. And what I don't understand here is, Finesse said it in the chat. This is one of the plays I like the most. I like the over 1.5 quite a bit. And I got to think that Klein is definitely going to mix in some wrestling.
Has to.
Like, he doesn't need an early finish here. He knows he can win this fight wherever he wants. And it's not like Klein is some supreme minute winner on the feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a power guy. So he mixes in a couple of kicks. He gets in distance, gets Cunningham against the cage, takes him down. I kind of think the Klein sub could be sneaky, but it's plus 350. Like, it's so shitty to bet it. But I think this fight goes over a pretty high clip. It's minus 105. That's my preferred play here. Look, there's certainly, I'm not saying that Cunningham's going to be competitive. It's more about how Klein just approaches these fights now. So,
do we think he can land a bunch of, like, is this worth it? Can this be worth it for DraftKings? He's not going to strike. The most strikes he's landed per minute is 4 against Devonta Smith over his last 5. He has landed 2 and 3 takedowns against Herbert and Bahamondes. Is he going to land 3 takedowns or 10? Because this is tough, man. Because I don't want to play him.
I wouldn't play him because for him to cover the salary, he needs one of two things. He's got to get a quick round 1 KO, which he just really doesn't do at this level. Or he's got to get a shitload of takedowns.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to get mat returns. Because if he gets 1 takedown and he gets a minute of control and he's not really throwing a ton of strikes on the ground, I mean, what's he getting you? Even in a second round finish, he's getting you 90.
Exactly.
So, like, I don't know.
That's not paying off.
Yeah. And by the way, Stephen Wynn had him because I had either the under or I had Wynn ITD in that fight. But I remember I'm like, why aren't they stopping this? Why aren't they stopping this? Stop this fucking fight. Cunningham took like a career leveling beating in that fight. But this is more just to the Klein's kind of fight style now, man. I think people just overrate the way he approaches fights. He's not just running in there recklessly looking for a head. If the head kick's there, he'll go for it. But it seems like he just wants to grapple now and like burn the clock. So I'll take I'd rather play the over 1.5 at minus 105 here.
Yeah. He doesn't really gas, does he? Or I don't remember, actually.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, dude, his ITD is minus 350.
Yeah, like, he doesn't ever go. So,
like, his ITD, his Klein round 2 is plus 250. Klein round 3 depends on your book. I see 550. I see 380. These are horrible numbers. So I'd rather just take the shot on the over 1.5 here at almost even money.
Underrated comment right here.
Yeah, well, he did get Nate to train. I mean, and that was a crazy fight.
Old Richie Cunningham.
And that's the thing. He didn't like getting pressured like that.
No, not at all. Speaking of pressure,
Landwehr's good at one thing. Fighting like a complete psycho with no regard to his body.
Yeah, exactly. The Mike Perry of the division.
But if you can't handle a pressure guy, like, he's a nightmare matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I remember being sad because he beat Elkins because that's my dude.
Yeah, that's right.
But he got in Elkin's face like the whole goddamn fight. He never gave Elkins a second
Elkins didn't know
breathe.
what to do.
Nah.
Speaking of guys that don't know what to do, see, I can segue into this fight no matter what. Yes, he was. He lost his Contender Series fight. I think, right? Didn't he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, Stephen Wynn. We just talked about it. Eric Anders taking on Jamie Picket again. Jesus Christ. Minus 110 doesn't go. Minus 120 does go. I couldn't find a picture of a Night Wolf. Minus 500 for Eric Anders. I can't even believe I just said that out loud. Plus 375 for Jamie Picket, 93 and 6,900. Yeah, in this economy, my God.
Was everybody stealing my lines?
Yeah, it's too good. Go ahead. What do you I mean, Jesus, is there any kind of way to bet this fight?
Oh yeah. I think Anders finishes. and I do like the sub look here. So okay, so Picket, I don't like betting numbers like this.
Right.
Like anybody that knows the way I bet is not this. I'd rather bet the Jizz Tits parlay at plus 980 and like be happy that way. Here's the thing. Pickett does one thing. I don't want to say well. He does one thing that like wins him fights. And that's get a guy against the cage and get control and do literally the minimal. Like Staropoli, like Joseph Holmes, who's, seems like a nice guy. But not really a UFC caliber fighter. Okay. Well, he's not going to cage control Anders. What's he going to do? You think Pickett's going to just hold him against the cage?
Hell
for
no.
Minutes and minutes? I should mention that this is important too. We're now seeing more and more often. These refs have no tolerance for this.
Dude,
if he puts him up against the cage, like 10 seconds. Now, if Pickett puts Anders against the cage for 30 seconds, and doesn't do anything, they're going to separate him. Now, I don't think Anders is got some like elite striking, and he's he's a good athlete, but I don't think he throws the fastest level of striking. But he's got serious power, and he's definitely way more physical than Pickett. He should be getting takedowns in open space here. I mean, I like the sub because Pickett does give his neck a lot, especially when getting up. Like Fremd, man, if Fremd wasn't such an absolute bum,
right?
That he just couldn't control Pickett, but the neck was there every time he got up.
Yeah.
So I like the Anders sub here. I like it as a club and sub probably more than anything else. And I don't know how Pickett keeps getting chances in the UFC, but
I don't get it, man. I don't. It's like the fucking middleweight Daniel Lacerda.
And as much as I hate these kind of juice parlays, man, I feel like I'd rather parlay Anders than Basharat and I'm not saying Basharat's not levels above Zahabi, but again, I mentioned I don't want to bet a minus 800 in a fight that's going to go the distance at a pretty high clip. I think Anders just mauls him here. I saw Landa saying round 1, round 2. That sounds about right to me.
Yep. And no, this one it's just crazy to see that number next to Eric Anders. He was plus 147, plus 160, plus 200, plus 115 in his last 4. So all of a sudden minus 500. So it's kind of just weird to see.
I mean, why is the number? Because Jamie Pickett.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And like even the guys that Anders struggles with historically, like he struggled with like where's it? Barrialt. Okay, Barrialt's like crowding him in his face, throwing a lot of volume. Okay. The Iron Turtle, hold on, it says, Iron Turtle fight. I mean, a lot of people thought he won. I had a bet on the Turtle. I watched it back. Absolutely make a case for Anders winning. He was definitely more aggressive. And then losing to Andre Muniz, when Muniz was like kind of at his peak, there's no shame in that. He's losing to guys that are like really, really good at one thing. He's not losing to guys like Jamie Pickett.
Right. And Jamie Pickett's losing to everyone. Daukus, Tululin, Nickel, Fremd. He beat Ugly Man Holmes. That was way back in 2022. And he only scored 66 points. The dude's basically the worst DraftKings scorer on the card. Doesn't score 2 points.
but Night
Yeah,
Wolf's
he
cool.
does. He does. That's true. And I think there's a tattoo of it on his left arm there. But under 2 points a minute everywhere. Overall, outside, inside distance, under 66 points per minute. And he gives up 103 when he loses. So, yeah, give me Eric Andrews here for DraftKings 9,300. Compared to some of these other salaries, I think that's probably a steal. You know, Javid's at 95. So, yeah, give me your boy, Eric Anders. Yeah, Eric Nurmagomedov for sure.
Just so you know, the subs, like, shop around for the sub because it's plus 250 to plus 400 range. But did I see?
That would be nice to see.
I think you're confusing me with Brady. This is his. This is Brady's homegirl. Mine is Agapova. So like whatever, I have to get some news about what her crazy ass is doing.
I need Karolina Kovalevich to fight again. See, we're all old guys. We like the classy ladies, the classy women.
Like what's sexy to me is knowing that she could rob me or stab me at any given point in my life. In public, in private, like doesn't fucking matter. That's like that's what turns my crank, man. Like
there
that's
you
kind
go.
Of shit. Yeah. It's like, oh man, it's like, oh man, my dad abandoned me when I was 8. Yeah.
I can work with this.
Let's go.
Here we go. Steve Astro Boy Ursig taking on Matt Danger Schnell. Now, when I hear danger, I think of Mystical, so that's why Mystical's in here. Minus 220 for Matt Mystical Danger Schnell. Plus 180, or sorry, minus 220 doesn't go. Plus 180 does go. Minus 435 for Astro Boy. Plus 335 for Matt Stickle. There we go. We're going to call him Matt Stickle. 9,207K. Why don't you start us off here? I think maybe no, it's my turn. I like this one's interesting. Everyone's thinking in the bookies as well. Doesn't go the distance, which means everyone thinks that Ursig finishes Schnell. I don't really see that. Yes, Schnell has been finished a bunch of times. In fact, 2 out of his last 3 fights he has been finished. So it's not looking good for me. But Ursig, David Dvorak, I mean, he didn't ever look for a finish there, scored less than 70 points. Alessandro Costa never really looked for a finish there, scored 87 points.
He hurt him a few times in that fight.
He did, but I just didn't see what I needed to see. Also, his face is really Ryan Hall-ish there, which I don't like. I don't like Steve Ursig's. I don't like your face. What is it's
baked into the line. That's
true. What does the cop say in Big Lebowski? I don't like your. I can't do it. Then he throws the coffee cup at his head. That's what I feel like when I look at Ryan Hall. And Schnell, I don't think can be counted out exactly because when he does win, he actually scores decently well. Actually, that's not true. I'm confusing him with a fighter we haven't talked about yet. Neither guy averages 80 points when they win. So if everybody's going to be on this fight thinking that Ursig's going to finish, I'm going to go under the field on Ursig here at a whopping $9,200. And I don't mind Schnell as a punt play, even though I do think Ursig wins by decision. So, yeah, that's kind of how I see this one. I think everybody's overplaying it, and I just got to see it from Ursig before I believe it. Lou, what do you got here?
So the most likely result is that Ursig clobbers Schnell, goes to the ground and gets a submission at plus 200, which is a terrible price.
Right.
But that's probably what happens. But I want to talk. I want to talk to Lando's point here because I think this is an important thing to bring up. If Schnell didn't have, and I'm not saying this isn't important, but if Schnell didn't have massive durability issues, what would you line this fight at? Because skill for skill,
right? It'd be like, I mean, we're at least minus, I don't know, minus 130. Minus 150 for Ursig?
I'd make it a little closer. I'd make it a little more than that, but not like dramatically. Like I mean, the problem with Schnell is he has zero process to anything he does.
That's true.
And he likes fighting a style to go right into his opponent's strengths. Like, and I think he's going to just box Ursig and keep his hands down. And Ursig hurt Dvorak. He hurt Costa. He throws a very clean left I think it's going to get through to Schnell, and then he'll follow him on the ground and sub him. I just hate the price. The price is awful to me at plus
Agreed.
200.
Yep.
Awful. If you want to go sub 1-2, it's probably not even much better. Like if you want to do like a same game parlay and like kind of combo it. But let me see what this is. I mean, just Usyk round one is plus 150, which is so bad. So bad. His round one subs plus 450. All right, fuck it. We'll say round 2 sub at 700. At least it's like some kind of a price here. But I think Usyk gets the sub at a pretty high clip. But I don't think Schnell's like not some horrible skilled fighter. He's just an idiot. He's an idiot that does and just remember, because I feel like this is, when you look at stuff on record and you're like, oh man, like, 'cause people go back to that Sumar Derji fight and they're like, what a war, had a lot of heart. Dude, that fight should have been stopped. He should have lost that fight. So, a lot of refs stopped that fight. If that's the case, he's coming off getting killed by Royval. And again, I don't want to say there's any shame in that, but like, he actually hurt Royval and then fucked up. He's getting the Sumar Derji fight, which is crazy. And Sumar Derji, kind of weird. And then Nicolau again, I think Nicolau's decent, but like wrecked him. But then he's coming off 3 losses, and he's coming off to like the Bontarine fight, which was like, again, he had every chance to win that fight. And like, so that's the thing, is like, he may even land an early blow on Usyk, like a minute in, and then like go for a takedown and get himself choked out. Like, that's not like out of play for me. So Schnell, to me, he's not going to 1-punch KO Usyk, and that's kind of his thing here. If you like Schnell, take him round 1 at 14-1. That's probably his win condition. Okay. But I wouldn't. But also don't.
Yeah. Plus,
I will say
round 1 for Steve Usyk.
I will say I always like betting the guy with more chest hair. As a general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
But he's Matt Schnell. He's American. If it was like Schnell off, like, I'm here for it.
Yeah, but Ryan Hall face over here. I mean, old droopy dog. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I want to think Schnell's not the live dog that I like. There's 2 dogs. Hey, there's 2 dogs left that I like. Actually, might be 3, but there's 2 dogs left, and we're almost done. So,
I was gonna say it's probably not this one.
It's not this one, but
this one.
I'll have something to say about this.
I mean, nobody even notices. It's Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Bekzat DJ Qualls Almacan. Minus 170 doesn't go. Plus 140 does go. Minus 1,200 for Umar. Plus 750 for DJ. 9,700. 6,500 for Bekzat there. Why don't you start us off here? What do you got?
Since I got my guy Dogfather in the chat, he said something very interesting on Big Steve's show that he didn't say he was doing it for sure, but he said he was thinking about taking the shot on Bekzat here. And again, like, I think one of the more important points here is, has Umar
I forgot about that.
Little Trick Williams, man.
Holy shit. What can we say instead?
So, I mean, I'm never parlaying a minus 1,200. Like, but let's look at some like recent line analysis. This is what Bo Nickel is lined at against these guys. This is Bo Nickel pricing against bums. Bekzat seems tolerable. He seems like he's kind of well-rounded. Seems durable. So,
what's his record going to be by Saturday?
38-1.
It's dropped already from 17-1 to 14-1.
He's gonna fight Askar Askarov 23 times. So I kind of think, like, look, he's unplayable here, and I don't think Umar gets a finish. Like, I don't. Okay. I don't hate this. I don't know if I'm gonna get there, but Bekzat plus 3.5 is plus 350. And I kind of think it's like a weird competitive. I think it's going to be a lot more competitive than this line says. I think Umar wins. I think Bekzat could steal around. I think it's going to be some weird, unless like Umar just like chucks him on the ground and submits him, which could happen.
That's going to happen.
But I think if it stays on the feed, I think it's going to be super competitive.
Yeah, I'm going Umar here. I thought he was going to be 10K. So coming in at 9,700 is a bargain. So I'm going to have him in a bunch of lineups. I mean, he's Ioni Barcelos. He smashed first round, scored 114. Nate Maness decision 105. Kelleher 105. Sergey Morozov 111. I mean, the dude's not fighting a bunch of Bekzat Almakans. He's fighting like guys with tons of UFC fights for the most part, like veterans at least in Kelleher and Barcelos for sure. Meanwhile, Bekzat, we don't even know what his real record is, and he fights on like AstroTurf. So I don't know what's going on. Nobody wanted to fight Umar outside of Corey Sandhagen. So I really don't know. I don't see how. I would be shocked if Bekzat took a round from Umar. I just think Umar's that good, and if I'm proven wrong, then I'm glad to have it done in this fight before he gets too much more hype. But I don't see it at all. I'm loving Umar in this one. Let's get it done, cousin Umar.
Can I just address this? So we got people already talking about Bo, and I got Suzanne saying that I'm going against my buddy Cody and all this. And let me just make this clear, as I just wrote in the chat. Like, this is the Sophie's choice of fights for me. Because I love Bo Nickel. I like, Penn State connection. Like,
Yo,
dude, even people that don't watch MMA that I talk to are like, because again, like I'm in Penn State area. Not really, but like it's because they're decent at football. Like people pretend like we live 5 minutes from Penn State. But like so many people know who Bo Nickel and like are excited for him. So that's awesome. And then you have like my best friend in the space that fights in Cody Brundage. So like, and then of course, like as soon as I tweeted the thing about, back in the day when I had a Twitter account, when I wrote the thing about like, God damn it. And Cody's like, what? He's DM'd me like, what's your problem? You don't think this is a good fight for me? I'm like, not a good fight for anybody, dude. No, it's not a good fight. What are you doing? No. And I'm like, if I told him, if you wrestle him, I will never fucking talk to you the rest of my life. Don't think you have a wrestling advantage here.
Shoots immediately.
Look, I'm not coaching him like somebody else we know.
Right.
Also, I'm coaching him. Do not fucking wrestle Bo Nickel, dude. Yeah. I had X. I had an X account. So will I bet Cody round one? Of course. I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound, losing money with him. But
oh yeah, it's going to be 4 figures, 4 digits.
But if he wins, he wins. I mean, if he win, I'll tell you right now, I've made more money on him than, like, I can't lose money on him the rest of my life unless he fights 45 more times and loses all 45.
Right.
Because when he wins in round one, it's like, oh, okay. There's 10 bets. What was the Malkoon one? Was like what, 12-1, 10-1?
Yeah, something like that.
15-1, something like that. Let's fucking go. What's he gonna be? What's his round one gonna be against Bo Nickel? 35-1.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be humongous.
Go.
It's gonna
you don't
be
think
gigantic.
that's worth like you don't think that's worth an Indian nickel?
One thin dime?
A ducat?
Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Well,
I mean, does Bo beat him up? By the way, he watches the show, so like I got to be very careful about like what I say here. But
that's true.
But now we're getting to the one where I guarantee we're going to disagree on this one.
Oh fuck yeah, we are. If you say that, then Muhammad Makhachev taking on Alex Perez. Actually, we might not disagree too much. Minus 155 does go. Yeah, it's always lurking in the background. Plus 125 does go. Minus 350 for Muhammad Makhachev. Plus 285 for Alex. Don't cancel me, Perez. 9,100, 7,100. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'll start this one off. Obviously, I like Makhachev. He scores fantastically. He's fought okay competition. Cody Durden, probably his best win in my opinion. Overall, maybe Tim Elliott's a close second, but getting out of the leg bar or the knee bar from Philo was very insane. Meanwhile, Alex Perez, what was it? 2 fights since his last win in 2020, and he has 12 canceled fights. He's lost to some decent names, but he hasn't beat anybody like De La Rosa, Espinoza, and Juicier Formiga were his last 3 wins. The one thing is, and this is what I was saying earlier mistakenly, yeah, exactly. This fight is probably not happening, but let's stay optimistic. Mistakenly, I thought whoever I was talking about was a good score, but when Perez wins, he scores even when he doesn't. I mean, DraftKings points per minute 4.7 for Perez, 3.24 at distance, and 5.19 in distance. When he wins, he scores 106.82, like a ridiculous amount of points. He also gives up 101 on average when he loses. Terrible takedown. Oh, that's accuracy. Actually, okay takedown defense at 71%, but Makhachev sure is going to test that. Now, I like Makhachev. I think he's going to win. I think he's okay for DraftKings at 9,100. He's pretty cheap. But the one thing here is don't count Perez out. He's a veteran. If this fight happens, and Makhachev, we've seen, has gotten himself into precarious situations from time to time, if somehow Perez could take advantage of that, he's a vet, man. And like I said, when he wins fucking big. So I'm going to have him in GPPs, Alex Perez, even though I don't think he's going to win, but I like Makhachev for cash and GPPs as well. So good DraftKings fight here, in my opinion. My pick is the Punisher. Lou, explain to me why I am wrong. Let me hear it.
Okay. I hate breaking this down because we know the fight's not going to happen. And I know that Perez Perez has some outside business interests now, juice bar or whatever stupid business shit he's doing. Dude, he could spend that money and just bet like Dutch League 2 soccer first half overs. Like that's how you make money.
I can't Kiwi. Sorry. I can't really describe a person and compare them to a monkey in this country. It's not a good thing. And I just couldn't do it, but I appreciate it.
So let's get past the Durden win, which I think is a solid win. Okay. And it was like a flash win, like a flash KO. Okay. I mean, he knocked him down and he choked him out, but whatever. How do you rate Charles Johnson? He's a guy that cannot defend the takedown.
Are we counting his hair? By the way, my Wi-Fi might go out. The TV just disconnected, so just a warning. I don't rate him too highly.
Okay, and Makhachev just kind of lollygagged, and he was dominant, but didn't really throw anything. Never had Johnson in any trouble. Malcolm Gordon won a round off him before he eventually got put away in the third. Okay, Malcolm fucking Gordon, the Iron Shin, Malcolm Gordon, Jafal Filio. Very easily, they could have stopped that fight for a submission. He had Makhachev in all sorts of trouble, and then Makhachev put him away in the third. Tim Elliott was up 2-0, and then did something stupid. At some point, these mistakes come back to haunt you. At some point. He's very young. He's going to make change. He's going to make improvements at a pretty fast rate. I think he needs to lose a fight to truly become a champ. I think he needs a humbling because he's making so many sloppy mistakes in so many fights. Alex Perez round 1 at plus 1,600 has a fuck ton of appeal for me because I don't know that Perez has the cardio to go 15 minutes at this point.
True.
With his inactivity, with his fight style, how hard he throws everything. If he's going to win this fight, he capitalizes on a mistake that Makhachev makes early. Even if you just want to play as ITD, it's like 950. Now, historically, I have said that I don't really like betting in the distance props against undefeated guys because we don't know how they're going to do when they're facing adversity. We've seen Makhachev face adversity against Filio. Big time.
Oh, yeah.
But we've never seen him face adversity on the striking end. And I think Perez's kicks I don't know if Makhachev's faced a guy yet that really throws a lot of leg kicks. So I don't know how he's going to respond to that. I don't know how he's going to like it. I got to play a number here, and I got to play Perez round 1, man.
At that number, that's not bad. I mean, that's an insane number for a round one sub.
But that's just his round one.
Oh shit.
There's no method. That's just
That's
round one.
insane. I thought you
I
said
just
round
think
one sub. Holy
Makhachev,
shit.
and I got to give my dude VB a little comment for something he said because he's funny. It was a funny comment. He's really hoping Makhachev wins so that we can like mega fade him next fight.
Well, they're talking about that's Pantoja. If he wins, they're already talking about it.
I mean, Pantoja would kill him, dude.
Well, Pantoja was talking about it, I guess.
Pantoja would. Well, he can't find an opponent.
Right.
He said he'd fight somebody he'd fight like the 20th guy.
He owns the fucking whole division. I mean, he's beat almost everyone in that division.
I think
multiple times.
I think that Perez is super live for a round one KO, and I'm gonna pick him for the show here. I'm gonna say that Makhachev's goes, and he'll probably come back stronger than ever because I kind of feel like that'll be the thing that makes him shore up a lot of these mistakes in his game.
Agreed. There we go.
Oh yeah, Makhachev would kill him. Round one,
absolutely.
Round one knockout, not even a sub. Yeah, Perez awful. Round one
so
for
quick.
Me is like if I lose like fucking point whatever units on a plus 1600, like that's fine.
Exactly.
And Makhachev round 3 sub is probably like I didn't even bother looking at what it is. 6-1. Like, I don't think that happens. I don't think this fight hits the like. I think fight doesn't start round 3 is probably pretty safe here.
Did Tyson Pedro age like 10 years since his last UFC picture? Or did he just cut his hair? Vitor,
he stopped going in the sun.
Yeah, Vitor Petrino taking on Tyson Pedro minus 275 doesn't go, plus 215 does go, minus 300 for Vitor, plus 250 for Pedro, 9K and 7.2K. Both men obviously with huge wins over the Pleasure Man. So Lou, who do you like for this co-main event? My favorite
guy in the league.
What do you got here?
So I like the over 1.5. That's one of my favorite plays. I think that there's a simplistic way to break this down, and then I'm going to add a little more. The simplistic way would be if you think Pedro is front-loaded, and his career would certainly tell you that it is.
Right.
He's round one or he's going to lose. But I have a couple of issues. I think Petrino is super hittable. Prachniow was hitting him. Like, Prachniow stinks, doesn't have like a ton of power. But Prachniow was landing clean a lot on Petrino. I think that if this fight does extend into the grappling realm, and I kind of think it will at some point, I think it's probably pretty even. It's competitive either way. Petrino's still just kind of growing as a grappler. Like, that's why everybody was shocked when he got the round 3 submission against Prachniow. They're like, what is this guy doing?
Mm-hmm.
He was content to grapple against the Pleasure Man. There's a lot I don't like about Petrino. And I get that Pedro is front-loaded. And I get that he's round 1. And I get it. But it's not like Pedro insta-dies and insta-win. It just means his volume goes down. So if this thing hits the second round, if Pedro can't finish Petrino, who, again, I must remind you, has been hurt and is very hittable, then what happens in the second round? It's probably Petrino going for a takedown. And watch what Petrino does every single fight, especially the Prachniow fight. Like, watch what he does. He gets takedowns. He doesn't rush anything. He looks to his coaches. He's like, and they're guiding him through how to move, where to position himself, what his opponent's doing. He's still learning, and he's very coachable. But that doesn't lend to a 30-second submission.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an attritional sub. It's not, but it's like he's taking his time and just making sure that he's never getting bucked off. He's never getting in trouble. I mean, if you like Pedro, you bet him round 1, and if you're playing Pedro round 1, I get it. I get it. But I think this fight goes over 1.5 at a pretty high clip.
Yeah.
I think fight goes is an interesting bet too.
Yeah, that wouldn't actually surprise me too much. Petrino can't be trusted long, that's for sure.
Let me ask you this. about this time prop. Let's say Pedro wins the first round, because I think that Pedro, skill for skill, very easily could win the first round. I think at least at close to a 50% clip. Okay.
Okay.
And then we agree that his cardio fucking goes.
Falls off a cliff.
So let's say it's 1-1 going in the third. Is Petrino hunting for an immediate finish, or is he immediately going for a takedown and eating up the clock and guaranteeing that he wins?
That one. Okay? Holding on for dear life.
So if you like Petrino, I almost like him round 2, or I like him to get a decision. And I get that he has a round 3 submission against Pacquiao. That's a fight he was just easily taking him down and having his way with him.
Right. Yeah. I think it was 3 or 4 takedowns. Yeah, 4 of them against Pacquiao.
But if you like but this is what I'm saying. If you like the Pedro side, I'm not talking you off it. And since so many people on so many shows just said, oh, well, Pedro's round 1 or buffs, like, wouldn't this be the time for him to, like, all of a sudden show up and just have like 15 minutes of cardio and win a decision?
Yeah, that would be awesome, especially since he's 7,200 this week. So, yeah, I like this fight for DraftKings.
I'm never betting Petrino here.
Yeah, that's tough at -300. Yeah, no parlay, none of that. But for DraftKings, for cash, I'm not touching this one. But for GPPs, I like either guy. I think either guy has paths to victory. Excuse me, multiple paths to victory. And I think they score pretty well. I mean, Petrino overall is almost at 5 points a minute. Pedro's averaging 106 per win. Also, when Pedro loses, it should be noted, second best scoring average on the card for his opponent at 74.83. That's all he gives up when he loses. So the Bukauskas fight, I forget who else it was, but yeah, generally doesn't give up. Mauricio Hua, I guess he got KO'd in the third, but only gave up like 70-ish points, 70-some points. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that's not far-fetched at all. I think this could easily go over 1.5, but I do want part of them in my lineup for the early finish capability. But again, Pedro at 72, if he wins at all, we're talking optimal lineup, even if he scores 70, 80 points in a decision. So yeah, I'm liking that a lot, actually. And plus, I mean, Pedro, both guys, I'm rooting for both guys, as I said, both beating the pleasure man. So I love to see that. Next fight, Lou, we did it. I will be starting us off. Main event. Battle of the Beards. Shamil Gaziev taking on Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who apparently has like 14 main events at this point in his UFC career. Minus 1,400 to not go the distance, plus 700 to go the distance. Minus 183 for the favorite, Shamil Gaziev, plus 185 for Rozenstruik. 83 and 79, the closest line fight on the card for DraftKings. And I tell you what, this is a good fight. I mean, either guy could get a finish in the first, round, first 7.5 minutes. I absolutely love to see that. The prices are perfect. Super cheap favorite, decently expensive underdog, but still easy to play in your lineups. Obviously, Rozenstruik is the one punch guy, can put you down at any time. Shamil does have power, but he also has some grappling as well. Now he beat Martin Budai, KO Martin Budai, who's super low volume, and now he's in a main event. Jairzinho also very low volume, but like I said, he just needs to land that one right shot, and this thing is over. So only 2 and 3 in his last 5, but like I said, he can catch you at any time. I'm leaning Gaziev. I love this fight for DraftKings. I'll probably have more Gaziev in my lineups, but I'm not counting Rozenstruik out by any means, and I'll be playing a bunch of him as well. So I just really like this fight. The pick is going to be Shamil Gaziev, and I just think he gets it. I think he probably has more tools than Rozenstruik, but Rozenstruik's one big tool is the big, I almost said something crazy, is the most powerful. There we go. The most powerful one in the bunch. So give me Gaziev, but watch out for Biggie Boy. What do you think, Lou? Take us home.
His tool is powerful, Monk.
I almost said biggest tool, and I couldn't. Yeah, it was bad.
This is when we give the disclaimer. Put the kids to bed.
It's the midnight happy hour. We're talking about it's tool talk, baby.
So I want to go back to Rozenstruik's fight against Jailton Almeida, where I had the same game parlay I gave out, and the last leg was significant strike. That Almeida would have more significant strikes. Rozenstruik landed 0 significant strikes in that fight. But I needed Almeida to get at least one because like you can bet the tie. So a push would have lost. Almeida landed 4 significant strikes and then won the fight. So if you look at Rozenstruik's losses, and these are guys, there's going to be a pattern here. 6 against Alexander Volkov. Volkov kept him at range, but at least could threaten a takedown. 18 against Blades. Blades threatens takedowns. Cyril Gane, he lands 42 in a 5-round fight and went the distance. It's not much. It's not good.
Not at all.
Gane had 2 takedowns. I think that this is the kind of fight, and I don't know what like Shamil's real ceiling is. I do think he is peak male performance. And like, look, man, he's hittable. His cardio is untested. Doesn't look great, but it's untested. But I don't think it matters here because Rozenstruik, A, doesn't work the body at all. At all. Well, I mean, that's sexy looking.
It is kind of sexy, actually.
Rozenstruik doesn't work the body. He's very low volume. He's just looking for a kill shot. Gaziev at least throws a little more volume. He's got the takedowns. Rozenstruik doesn't have a good get-up game. Gaziev's top control is decent. I think it'll be more than enough here. And more importantly, a lot of people that are smarter than me love Shamil this week. So I'm going to pick Shamil. I think his ITD is like minus 130. It's like fucking awful. Like it probably happens 1-2. I don't even think you're getting a. Let me see what my one book has for 1-2. Let's go to Bet Parks. See how parksy it is. Because they usually give me a lot better lines than they give me like Bet Rivers type of fucking lines for some of this shit. By the way, we're gonna have to talk about this Caitlin Chukagian thing before we go off the air. But
what Caitlin Chukagian thing?
Or whatever her because now her name's no longer Caitlin Chukagian.
Caitlin Sermonara, but I still don't know what you're referencing.
I mean, look, I don't like the names. All right, Shamil 1-2 is plus 105.
Well,
I mean, that's not
plus. It's plus.
Yeah. But I mean, it probably happens at a pretty decent clip. So I'm gonna say Shamil 1-2. And I'm just look as a Dago, as a proud Italian, I like that it's Sermonara. That's a strong name. That's a way better name than Chukagian. But like, I have 2 friends named Monk and Wheezy that have spreadsheets out the butthole that now have to make all these changes. Have to make all these changes now to their thing. Chukagian is and always will be the pride of Quakertown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Quakertown.
And definitely looks like somebody, and she definitely looks like somebody from Quakertown, Pennsylvania. But I guess that's for next week.
That's true.
By the way, bet the split decision in that fight. It's a Chukagian fight.
Yeah, exactly. She ain't finishing.
It'll be plus 350.
So I think it's the longest streak in the UFC ever with no finishes. I think we're up to 11 or 12.
I don't know. So I'm going to pick Gaziev. You want to just like, can we just talk about like 2 minutes each? Just the main and the co-main next week. We're not going to break them down.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Just our like initial thought on it.
So let me pull up the old topology.
Got to give the people what they want.
I mean, if you can't tell, I got the Cheeto Vera hoodie on. So we're rocking Cheeto next week. That's for sure. And the main and the co-main.
I hate O'Malley. I hate Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I know somebody in the chat that definitely loves O'Malley. You know, I know somebody that like loves O'Malley that made him a lot of money against Peter Yan.
Sure.
By split, like had that prop.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I think Cheeto just kind of overwhelms him here.
I'm going with the Cheeto and Benoit. How can I not pick Benoit Saint-Denis? This guy's, I know he's not fought anyone like Poirier, but
if Poirier,
let's
put it this way. If you think, I think Poirier, like I love Saint-Denis here too. I think Poirier is drawing to a KO.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like I don't, And also you have to kill like an unkillable human being. So
Right.
like, good luck, dude. And I think
mean,
Poirier's kind of like, I think Poirier's kind of on a decline a little bit now.
Agreed.
Like, he looks a little slower. I mean, his durability is certainly going. But yeah, I mean, Santini.
No, that means I'm betting with my heart and not my head.
Betting. I'm betting on the body breaking down. I'm betting on the leg kicks once again.
Yes.
Poirier definitely knows how to win decisions. The problem for Poirier is this is not going to be a decision. This is going to be a sanctioned murder.
I mean, then we got Burns and Madalena. We got Jan Song. We got Holland.
The best fight ever. Kevin Holland against Michael Venom Page.
I mean, this card's a bait, dude. RDA and Gamrot.
It's the goofiest fight they've ever made. Is Holland and Page, and I'm here for that. So I'm here for Kevin Holland season.
Blades
Holland by like flying toe hold round 3.
Yeah, Michel Pajeda against Michael Oleksiejczyk.
Awesome card. Yeah, I mean,
he changed it. No, he changed it. Did you see? Because I heard too many people were saying stuff about it, so he changed it to oh shit, I forget who he changed it to.
If Rich is right, he's right. That's fine. Like, dude, I think I bet for Vola like an idiot. I think I had for Vola round 1, and then he's just now waking up.
Yeah, still having dreams about it.
You know, and I think I had Thiago Moises. So, like, I've historically not been good with Santini fights. So take that for what it's worth.
Well, they tried to murder him, Lou. Sean O'Malley hired that referee. He tried to murder, or not Sean O'Malley. Dustin Poirier tried to, hire that referee just to try to stop this fight from happening. Tried to kill him off back in the day, and it didn't work. He's still alive, Lou. Still alive.
Yeah, he even got a yam bag awarded to him.
That's true.
Beginning of the 3rd round. I'm surprised they didn't just like take 3 points from the sand. I mean, the way that ref wanted that fight to go, I'm surprised he just wasn't taking every point. Inactivity. Point.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that's it.
That is it. We did it, guys.
I have something
What's
to
that?
promote. I can promote next week at least.
Yeah, there we go. I don't have shit. I got nothing else going on. I'm finished. Next week's going to be awesome. This show's going to be awesome next week. And I got to start working on the artwork for the new show because I want to start getting that going. I got to do artwork and I got to start inviting guests.
Yeah.
So we'll get that going. But yeah, I got nothing else. Anything left to say for you?
Good luck. Go light this week for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't
save it for next week.
And then next week, because I've been like lowering my content, obviously, if you haven't noticed. And so next week, props to consider, and then maybe bet. I will have Pepe Sylvia and Big Steve, which should be good. On this show, we will have the Dog Father.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be our guest for the pay-per-view. I don't know if you guys have seen him. He's done work with Catch Warrior, Big Steve, a couple others. Really sharp, really good. Always points that way with his camera, so we'll figure out a way to troll him. Figure out a way to troll him, or tell him to turn his camera around. We'll have a way to figure it out. And I may have another show that week too, and then we'll see if Monk gets his shit together for this unnamed working title show. I know, dude. We'll try to put you over there. We'll try to make it so that you're looking at us. We'll figure it out.
No, we'll just all look off camera the whole time.
And that's all I got. Jizz Tits Parlay is plus 930 this week if you're interested. If you want to do the jizz on Shamil's tits, it's plus 1650. Yes, I priced this out.
Oh my god. What a great name for a parlay.
He says
best ever.
Could
be best ever.
Jizz on Shamil's tits parlay is plus 1650.
That's one hell of a
The
number.
only problem is it's a 2-day parlay because Heracles in the Dutch league plays on Sunday. So
Heracles?
That's the team, not Hercules, Heracles.
Oh, I thought it was a guy.
So if Shamil and Tits come through, you're waiting 24 hours for the jizz, which if you're somebody who I won't name practices semen retention, maybe you're probably making this play. Bang!
It all comes full circle. All right, guys, that is gonna do it. Thank you so much for joining us. Check us out next week for the UFC 299 show. It's gonna be an absolute banger. I'll try to even spend more time on the artwork. We'll get some real Banksies going on. So as usual, I want all of you to enjoy the fight. So enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.